hello, hello. Welcome to the dollhouse. I am the doll. And today I am talking about how to decenter your man. Now, this is for the dolls who still want to deal with men. There's no right or wrong answer to that. But I'm going to talk a bit about my strategies for decentering the man in my life. And the number one strategy is just to be comfortable with saying no. No. And I say no a lot. A lot, a lot. Um, it's totally fine to say yes if you're feeling it. But I remember before I had really centered myself and centered the God in me and the ideas that I have in my mind about how I will be most fulfilled. If he were to ask me to go somewhere or, meet up for dinner, or if, I were asked to really just do anything, maybe take a last minute trip, I might drop things that are, that need to get done, or overlook other obligations, or even cancel. I've canceled plans with friends. And don't act like I'm alone. Don't act like I'm the only one. I have canceled plans with friends to hang out with a man before. So I have really stopped doing that when I find myself compromising on the things that I need to do, or that I really looked forward to doing, or sacrificing relationships with other people for the sake of that relationship. Because really, all of my friend relationships, and family for me is first, so he's in the friend group, but all of my friend relationships should be equal. Until he is my family, he is a friend. And friends are all on the same level. And what I've learned is that it's not a good idea to treat the guy friends in one's life better than the girlfriends. Because the likelihood is if you make some good girlfriends, they're going to be the ones around with you in the last days, in the later stages of your life. Especially in my situation, because I like older. So, it leads me to be comfortable with saying no. And once you do that, it takes the pressure off of the relationship with him. Because let's say, for instance, we had a date to a nice restaurant, and he had to call last minute and say, oh, I won't be able to make it. Well, the old me probably would have been upset, probably would have been questioning the reasoning for why he had to cancel, wondering if there was someone else involved, wondering if he was losing interest, being upset for having wasted makeup, a whole wide range of things. But now that all friends are on the same level, I treat those types of cancellations with the same amount of power that I treat a friend girl cancellation. If my girlfriend cancels last minute, I might be slightly inconvenienced, but I wouldn't feel disappointed. So I treat them all the same. If my friend cancels, if a girlfriend cancels, I don't care. And if a man friend cancels, I don't care. Life goes on. I look cute. I was headed out to meet with you. So, just because you can't come doesn't mean that I still can't go out. So that's my attitude on one way to decenter the men in your life. Just be comfortable with saying no. Some people really are pushovers. I've never been that way. I don't know if it's because maybe I was the firstborn in my family, with my mother, on my mother's side anyway. I was the firstborn. And I've always been comfortable saying no, especially to my little brothers. Another way that I decenter the man in my life is not to look to him for our future planning, my retirement planning, where I plan to spend my life over the next 5, 10, 30 years. I'm making those plans on my own until and unless there's someone who shares the same vision with me and we can plan together. Um, so I look to myself for future planning. Luckily, I do have a background in finance, so that's very helpful for me to have a good hold on the financial part of life. Um, but there was a point when, even though I did feel solid financially, I wanted to put a lot of weight on my relationship for what we were going to do in our future later. And that ended up being a mistake. And it's something that I would implore women to think about. Um, if your future plans for life, your standard of living while you're working and retire, if that hinges on your relationship with a man, you might want to consider rethinking that, because you have to be the person you can rely on, the nucleus of the your life. You know, so I hope that makes sense. Another way that I have decentered the man in my life is not to talk to friends or family about him, and to keep my conversations based on learning more about these people, learning more about what makes my friends and family happy, and how we can be more supportive of one another. And me and my friend group, we have really gotten to a point where we almost don't talk about men at all. Number one, because there's nothing more embarrassing than telling a friend about a guy that you think might have some potential. Y'all have a good date and y'all hang out and it's a lot of fun. And then you start a relationship and you're telling your friend about it. And y'all have all these happy milestones. Then the next thing you know, you got to tell her why he isn't around. It's like removing the pictures from the Instagram. It's like kind of pulling back all that hopefulness, and you can feel the shady looks from the onlookers. So decentering men from conversation with friends, especially your man, like it's better to talk to friends about what their interests are and maybe expose yourself to something new through them. And also because we do have disagreements, and when those disagreements arise, if I'm talking to a friend or family member about disagreements, they could potentially start to dislike him based on the things that I'm saying. And I don't want that, because after I talk through my issue or realize that I was wrong, then we get back on a good footing, and now the friend or family member hates him. Now, you've heard that story a million times before, and I'm just reiterating it. It's a way to decenter men from relationships, and it just really helps the relationships with friends and family flourish. Because when you take an interest in other people, you're really giving them the space to shine. People love to talk about themselves. Giving someone an outlet to talk sometimes and to reflect is fantastic. It's a fantastic way to develop relationships. And, when you're dealing with other people in the workplace, of course, in your friends and family groups and, social settings and groups and clubs like church or wherever you might be, taking an interest in the other people and really listening to the things they have to say, it works wonders with expanding your social circle. So dolls, decenter the men in your life in these 3 ways, and it will keep your relationship interesting and carefree and light in a way that you don't feel so emotionally emotionally destroyed if things don't quote unquote work out. Like, what does it even mean for things to work out? I guess best case scenario is that you stay with them until you die. You potentially even raise a family together, buy a farm, have some dogs, start I don't know, start a business. Maybe some people want to do that too. But, whatever your ideal is, if you have the ideal for that in your mind, that's a good thing. But I would recommend not making the idea for what you want in your mind based on the participation of anyone else. No one else. Just let them add to it if possible. And if they don't, why are they in your life? But let them add to it and just be the cherry on top of the chocolate cake of your life that's you made. Anyhow, so y'all, say no a lot. Don't look to a man or anyone to base your goals on, and then stop talking to people about your man and your relationship. So I hope this is helpful. This is for the dolls. And let me know what you think in the comment section, especially other ways that you find yourself centering yourself rather than a man. So let's talk soon, y'all.